Hello, I'm with Miłosz Garbarczuk, who's been using the theory of constraints for, I don't know exactly, over 10 years. And I wanted him to tell us what his theory of constraints journey is. When did it start? What happened? So when did you discover this strange thing called the theory of constraints?
So I was much younger than today, so not too many gray hairs. I remember it was approximately 2012. Yes, I work in the steel industry. I get information from my boss that we have to buy a book. What kind of book? The name of the book is Gold by Goldratt. And this is about theory of constraint. So my first impression was theory. Okay, we'll learn about some theory. Constraint. Why constraint? What is telling about regarding the steel industry? So I had more questions rather than the answers in the beginning. We bought this book in many copies. So we introduced to the old plant managers, as I remember. And just 2 months later, because my boss was the CEO of the company, he organized workshops. And just 2 weeks before the workshops, he sent a question to all the participants, plant managers, and also me, that we have to read. And the workshops will be about theory of constraint and how we are going to implement within the steel industry. So I was a little bit forced to read it, and forced to use it. But looking back, I think it was one of the best gifts which I get in those more than 10 years ago. We start to use it in a steel industry in a very not a complex way, but a holistic way that we use in many factories. We look what is the bottleneck, not on the production facility, but we look into our company, what is the bottleneck, how we could achieve it. When we created the strategy, we also use the theory of constraints regarding what we should do to have a real huge step forward regarding our profitability. I remember that time that we changed the name cost effective. It was not the main word. We changed for profitability.
Yeah, one of the unusual things that you've done in your career, because often the throughput accounting part of the theory of constraints is used in medium-sized companies, but not in very large companies such as the one you were working with at the time, right?
But this throughput accounting, I run also one of the production facilities in steel industry. Yeah. I remember one case that the salespeople, they try to convince the manufacturing that you have to produce one product. Mm-hmm. One product, because the euro per ton was at a very great number. I don't remember, but it was a huge number, euro per ton. Then, as a fan of theory constraints, and also there was a time that I learned about the throughput accounting, with my team we did short and easy calculations, not regarding euro per ton, but euro per hour. Mm-hmm. Euro per hour throughput, and the information was that typical commodity had much more euro per hour versus that's a nice niche product. Yeah. And we convinced also the sales that or they have to increase the price because it doesn't make sense, or we have to cut the tail from our planning and portfolio of the products. So that was some kind of game changer, how to look to your products, how to look to your profitability from the throughput accounting point of view.
So a lot of theory of constraints, a lot of dimensions of the theory of constraints in that organization. And then what did you do?
Then I left steel industry, and I started to run a business, production, but also sales. Yeah. So I had a chance to use the throughput accounting to prepare offers that you cannot refuse.
Right.
So I remember one Polish client, we prepared for him the offer for, there was a scaffolding business. So the prices and delivery time, he said, no way, you are going to lose your money on that. We said, no, it's our offer. Take it or leave it. One situation that we used TOC. The second one was we had some problems on one of our best products. To find where is the problem on the production and how to mitigate, how to put some actions. I decided to put all my management team for 1 week of training in terms of theory of constraint. And just after this training, I pushed them together as a team with me. We spent whole week from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the shop floor on the different areas just to observe what is happening, just to see where is this bottleneck in this production line. And after this week, the solution was so simple that we said to each other, no way, we were so stupid before. There was a pure paint shop, and just to do few organizational changes and the way how people work without any additional headcounts, any additional investments, we increased the throughput, we increased
of the paint shop, right?
Of the paint shop, and the overall profitability and the turnover from the company. That was around 6 to 8 months. From the negative EBITDA, we went to the positive net results of the company without investments.
By the way, in our experience, there's a 50% probability that if you have a paint shop, it is your bottleneck.
And last but not least, we also use the TOC, the Throughput accounting. We prepare a contract for one of our customers. There was a first contract which I created in my life in terms of the sales. Mostly I'm working within the manufacturing industry, but there was a time that I worked with sales, and also it was validated by the customer in the first meeting. So with the good results in terms of the profitability for the company.
And then what happened?
Then I help also to some customers to improve their business. But I start to build a factory. So building a factory, it's a one part using the TOC. But second also is to use the theory of constraint / critical chain regarding the transfer projects. We are using critical chain for the project transfers. One of the examples, we move the complete injection department, 20 injection machines, completely new infrastructure, new place, all validations, 2 weeks.
And by the way, we did a specific video about how he built a factory in 11 months using critical chain. Have a look at the channel. Now you're doing more and more theory constraints and critical chain in your group. You're rolling it out.
Yes, we are working on the strategy, how to roll out a critical chain approach, not only within the one project or within the one factory, but our ambition and vision is to roll out through all the group. Because if you want to have a great results, not to improve by 3, 4, 5%, if you want to improve by 20, 30, 50%, you need to do in a different way. And this different way is the critical chain and theory of constraint.
Well, thank you very much. A fantastic journey so far in the theory of constraints. And I'm sure it's going to be even more fun and exciting in the future. So keep going. Thank you very much, Miłosz.
Thank you.
Bye.